Hey guys, Matthew Rodella here with Key Press Media. I know last week I said that I wasn't going to do a WaaS Wednesday this week because I'll be speaking at the Ethereum um, uh, event, conference. That's the word I was looking for, conference tomorrow afternoon. So I thought I'd be busy prepping for that, but I actually have my talk already pretty much done. So I thought I'd go ahead and take the time to stream live. So I want to try to get an unbroken streak of WaaS Wednesday videos. So for those of you who don't know, WaaS Wednesday is every Wednesday I go live in the Facebook group and I talk about one question. I answer one question that a student or member of the community has asked sometime in the past. And I answer that question just kind of off the cuff, off the top of my head, based on my experience and the experience of all the members of the community that I've learned from. So the question for today is, how do you maintain a WaaS? So what goes into maintaining a websites as a service platform on WordPress multi-site? And this is a question I get a lot from students or folks who are interested in trying out the WaaS model. And I can understand the question because, you know, the way I pitch WaaS to people is that it's a great passive recurring revenue income stream that you can add to your existing business, or you can go full force into it as its own business. But that doesn't mean that it's totally hands off, right? You're still going to need to maintain it, and you're going to need to do certain things to keep things running and support your customers and all of that stuff. And so a lot of people wonder, you know, how much effort is actually involved in keeping it running day to day. And so that's what I'm going to talk about today. So, you know, we're talking about WordPress multi-site, right? So I think the first thing we need to address with maintaining your WaaS is the same things that you would need to update on a regular WordPress website. And that is, plugins and WordPress itself and themes, you know, making sure you keep all of those up to date. For me, I do that about weekly for my WaaS. And just every week, typically try to do it like on a Sunday evening or maybe on a Friday afternoon. I'll go in, and if there are just minor updates, I'll go ahead and run those updates right away. I'll, of course, take a backup first, run those updates. If there are any major updates, like a major point change in a point update in WordPress or a major change in a plugin, I'll go ahead and copy the WaaS platform onto a staging site and run the updates on staging first, and then I'll run the updates on live. When you're working with WordPress multi-site, don't forget that you have to update the plugins in the network admin screen, and then you have to go and do a network update, which is a separate thing under the update in the menu. You have to click network update, and then that'll update all of your subsites as well, because your subsites have their own database entries, and you have to make sure to update that as well. So it's kind of a two-step process for each plugin and each theme and each update that you do. You have to update the network admin and then update the network as a whole. So don't forget to do that. But that's basically straightforward, right? It's the same thing, except for that little network part. It's the same thing you do with a standalone WordPress site. You back it up, you update the plugins, check for any issues, and go from there. So, of course, that's the first thing you'll need to do on a regular basis. If you're not used to working with WordPress, this might be something new to you, but for those of us who are used to working with WordPress, it's not a big deal. You can always hire a VA or something to do it for you, or a developer to do it for you. So that's not a big time suck. The next thing, and I mentioned it already, is backups, right? You want to make sure you're taking at least daily backups of your WaaS network, probably even more often than that, because people are going to be changing things all the time, and you want to make sure that you're able to capture the point where the website broke for your customer so that you can restore it back. I've only ever had to restore my entire network from backup once. Every other time, it's been just single subsites. So in a backup tool, you want to make sure that your backup tool allows you to back up the entire network, but then only restore a single subsite back into the network. And there's only a few backup tools that can do that. I use Updraft Plus, the Pro version, and it has a multi-site add-on. There are other options, though. You can use WPMU Dev's Snapshot Pro, but you have to use the previous version, version 3, because they broke the single subsite restore in their most recent version of the plugin. So you have to stick with version 3 until they fix it or add that back in to their current version 4 of the plugin. But if you are using their hosting and you're a member of their plugin subscription service, then you might want to use Snapshot. Another one you can use is all-in-one migration. They have a multi-site add-on. A lot of folks in the group use that, and they're very happy with that one. And then I just found out that Blog Vault has the ability to restore a single subsite as well. And I just found this out from the owner of Blog Vault, actually. So I would like to test this out because I really like Blog Vault. I like the idea of Blog Vault. I've used it in the past, and it's a very seamless, easy, reliable way to restore a WordPress website from the cloud. And so I'm hoping that this multi-site version of it is just as easy as well. So those are some options for you for backups. All right, another thing you'll need to do to maintain your WaaS platform is support. You've got to support your customers, right? As they're getting onboarded onto your platform, as they're trying to add things to their website, they're going to have questions, they're going to run into issues. In the Turnkey Websites Blueprint course, we spend a lot of time talking about how you can help to mitigate the support burden that you're going to have from building a WaaS platform. And that includes things like, onboarding videos, a very robust knowledge base where people can look up answers on their own, and then a very good support system, a help desk software, chat software, that kind of system. And then you can always hire someone to come on board and run support for you. That's what I do. I have a VA that does the first level of support. So she vets all of the tickets, she answers all the easy questions, and then if it does end up being a technical issue, she'll bump it up to me. I might have, 3 or 4 technical issues that get bumped up to me per month. So it's not a big deal. Doesn't happen too often, especially if you built a good system from the beginning. Something else you'll need to maintain is your hosting. Of course, just like any other WordPress website, you'll have to keep an eye on your host, especially the levels of bandwidth and storage and all of that stuff, the CPU usage, the memory usage. You'll have to keep an eye on that unless you have some kind of hosting that can scale on its own. And I'm thinking hosts like Clostay and I think GridPane as well, have some sort of built-in elasticity and scaling that you don't have to always be watching it. But you do still need to keep an eye on it, and you might have to bump up resources. But that's something that you just check on occasionally. You'll get an idea of when you're starting to get to that limit, and you can keep an eye on things. Now, there are some things that can help you to avoid needing to increase your hosting resources, and that's things like image optimization. So that's another thing that you'll want to maintain, and that's pretty hands-off if you use a plugin like Smush Pro or Short Pixel, one of those plugins that automatically optimizes images. I like Smush Pro because it's fully multi-site compatible, so you can set it up from the network admin to automatically optimize images that your customers upload, so you don't have to do anything with that. That's really good. So that helps reduce bandwidth and storage and all of that stuff on your hosting. And then another thing you could do is offload your media files to a third-party cloud storage like Amazon S3 or something like that. And there's a plugin I use for that called WP Offload Media, I think it's called. And it's by the Delicious Brains folks. And it's super easy. You just connect it to Amazon, and it automatically offloads all media files to third-party storage, so that again it doesn't eat up your storage on your server. So those are really the main things that you'll need to maintain. And the only other thing that I'm thinking of off the top of my head is sales. So sales questions. So people who have questions about what your platform is, you might want to do hands-on demos. If you like to get hands-on or do calls with prospects, or you just might have a automated chat bot that answers their questions or something like that. It's up to you how involved you want to get with that, but there is some maintenance that needs to be done to nurture your leads into customers, just like it would in any other business model. Okay, so there it is. Those are kind of my ideas for things that you'll need to do to maintain and keep up your WaaS platform as you run it over time. Once you've built it and you start running it, these are the things you need to keep in mind. If you want more information about, how to build your WaaS responsibly and how to maintain it and scale it over time, go ahead and check out my course, turnkeywebsitesblueprint.com, and then click the course tab in the menu. Also, lots of other resources there, or just ask questions in the Facebook group here. A lot of helpful folks that can point you in the right direction. All right, guys, hope to see you guys at my talk tomorrow at the Ethereum conference. My talk is at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So if you haven't signed up, go sign up. I'll put the link below this video. Hope to see you there. Otherwise, I will